Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, and thank you so much for attending our webinar. Are you curious about Qlik Sense SaaS? We are delighted to have our very own pre-sales architect, Scott Halberstadt, presenting today. We know your time is valuable, so we are keeping this jam-packed webinar right at 30 minutes. So please be sure to use your chat feature, choose me, Elizabeth Unger, to submit all your questions, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Thank you again for joining us, and I will now pass everything over to Scott.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth, and welcome everyone. Thanks for taking this time with us today. And before we get started, let's just take a look at the agenda for today's presentation. So today we're going to briefly talk about DI squared, who we are and what we do, our partners and how their products can augment Qlik Sense. We'll touch on what SaaS is and how it benefits companies. We'll jump into the Qlik Sense platform and take a look at some of the new features that are available in the cloud, including the Insights Chat Advisor and Qlik Alerting. We'll talk a little about the value of moving to SaaS, discuss next steps, and then we'll open the floor for some Q&A, a little audience participation, if you will. All right, let's get started. So DI squared, who are we? I think we've worked with a number of you in the past, but for those of you we have not worked with, DI squared is an elite Qlik partner and 3-time Qlik Partner of the Year. We have offices throughout the South, the Midwest, and up into Canada. With over 130 active clients, we have an unmatched level of experience and expertise across a wide range of industries. We've been doing business since 2008 as an end-to-end Qlik solutions provider. So everything from installation, configuration, data modeling, ETL, application development, training. If you can do it in Qlik, we can help you get it done. Now, Qlik is a uniquely powerful platform on its own, but we have a couple of partners that can help you take your Qlik applications to another level. Big Squid provides automated machine learning capabilities that allow organizations to leverage predictive analytics, even without a data scientist on staff. And Vizlib is the premier developer of Qlik Sense extensions, including their visualization library, collaboration tools, write-back functionality, and more use case specific Gantt chart and finance extensions. If you would like more information about any of our partners and how they can help you become more data-driven, please let us know. Now, before we jump into the Qlik Sense demo, let's talk a little bit about software as a service, or SaaS. The traditional implementation for most software, including Qlik Sense, has been on-premise hosting, whether that's on a server like your Qlik solutions or on a desktop. Increasingly, businesses are turning to cloud-hosted SaaS solutions like Qlik Sense SaaS to reduce their internal IT footprint and streamline deployments. And with that out of the way, let's get into our Qlik Sense SaaS platform demonstration. You'll notice right away that the Qlik Sense Hub has really been reimagined, allowing for better collaboration, increased customization, and improved scalability throughout your organization. We'll start with the new Monitor Charts feature since it's right here at the top of my home screen. And this allows users to pin any visualization from any application directly onto the home screen so that you can keep those key KPIs right at your fingertips. These snapshots are automatically updated every time the application is reloaded. So not only do you have the most current data in front of you, but you can go back in time and see historical data as well. Any user, including analyzer license users, can even monitor a chart that has been created using the Insights Advisor. So this opens up an avenue for some light analyzer self-service. Now, your monitored charts don't have to be front and center. The Qlik Sense Hub is completely customizable. Just drag and drop sections of content to create the home screen experience that works for you. This includes the ability for users to create their own custom collection of applications so that they can centralize the content that they use the most. You can also create links to other web-based sources as well, allowing Qlik Sense to perform as a true business hub, not just an analytics tool. In fact, feel free to visit the newly redesigned disquared.com website after today's webinar. I had to get a cheap plug in there. Training resources are also included to support every user, from beginners to power users, with the enablement they need to get the most from your Qlik Sense investment. Qlik also keeps you up to date with the latest features, webinars, and training materials. Just click on the Q icon in the bottom right-hand corner to see what's happening in Qlik Sense. Now, in the client-managed version of Qlik Sense, applications could reside either in your work area or they could be published to your streams. Collaborating on an app meant passing ownership back and forth between users, which isn't necessarily the most elegant approach. New to the Qlik Sense SaaS platform is the concept of shared spaces. At a high level, spaces just replace the concept of streams in the SaaS platform. Shared spaces allow multiple users to contribute content to an application, improving collaboration in the development process. Applications placed in the shared space can be duplicated, they can be moved to other spaces, or published when ready for end user consumption, just like you would do in the client managed platform. Managing spaces has been streamlined as well. Simply click on members, add new members, and then select the user or user groups that you need to add, and they immediately have access to the space and its analytical content. The same is true for application reloads. Those can be scheduled directly from the hub, allowing for a more intuitive experience. No need to navigate back to the management console anymore. Just select an app, choose the reload schedule that meets your requirements, and you're off and running. While we're still in the hub, let's take a look at the latest piece of functionality to come to the Qlik Sense SaaS platform, data cataloging. Qlik Sense has always excelled at presenting data analytic applications. Now, Qlik is bringing improved visibility to the raw materials that power business decisions. Explore available data sets through data profiling or sample data. From there, users can create applications with a single click using the data that they need most. This feature was recently rolled out in the March 2021 release. All updates to the Qlik Sense SaaS platform are automatically delivered, so you always have the latest and greatest new features available in your tenant without the need for a development server or a testing environment. Administration has been streamlined as well. You can continue to leverage your existing Active Directory or single sign-on providers to add users, or let Qlik Sense handle your user authentication. This allows administrators to invite users via email, assign roles, and manage licenses more intuitively than ever before. As always, you can centrally manage all aspects of the platform, from users to apps, scheduling to APIs. With this updated user interface, Qlik Sense SaaS makes it easier than ever to administer your environment. So we've talked at length about how Qlik Sense SaaS can help you better manage and scale your deployment. So now let's talk about how SaaS can improve your analytics and provide more insights to your end users. Longtime Qlik Sense customers are certainly familiar with the natural language processing abilities of the Insights Advisor in your applications. But what if you could extend that functionality to your entire Qlik Sense environment so that people can ask business questions and get answers from any application that you've developed? Well, that's exactly what the Insights Advisor chat feature allows you to do. Right here in the hub, we can toggle the Insights chat and start asking questions. Let's start with, what is our revenue by customer? Now, the Insights Advisor found 2 applications that could answer that question for us. Our executive dashboard is the application we use the most, so let's direct click to that app. Qlik Sense will now render a visualization to answer our question and provide a quick KPI there at the bottom. But let's take this a step further and let's go ahead and ask a follow-up question. What about Europe? The Insights Advisor chat is context aware, so it will now apply that region filter to the current query and return a result. At any time, we can follow the Explore This Further link to dive into the source application to see what other insights we can find. We can also always take a look at what apps, measures, and dimensions are available within the Chat Advisor, so if we need some guidance for what questions that we can ask. Developers can even fine-tune the vocabulary and logical model for an application to ensure that Qlik Sense is always speaking the same analytical language as your end user. And as you would expect in Qlik Sense, all security and section access rules apply to the Insights Advisor chat, so you always have full control of your data. Now let's take a look at Qlik's alerting capabilities. As businesses generate more and more data, separating signal from noise becomes increasingly challenging. Qlik helps cut through the clutter by alerting you when significant changes in your data occur. So here we have our customer experience app. Now we can create an alert from anywhere within a Qlik Sense application. You simply right-click a visualization, select Create Alert. So let's just start here with our Net Promoter Score. And we'll click Create Alert. The alert wizard will now walk you through the setup process. Let's start by giving this alert a logical name. We'll call this one Net Promoter Score Outliers. From there, simply select the measure that you would like to monitor. Because I clicked on our Net Promoter Score KPI, Qlik is recommending that measure first, but I could select any measure that I like. Alerts function completely independently of visualization, so they are truly data-driven. Once you select that measure, you can refine your data by selecting a dimension. We'll just grab our products here. And then you can see a preview down below to make sure that we're seeing the results that we would expect. Now let's set some conditions to trigger our alert. I will say that I want to be alerted anytime our Net Promoter Score drops below, let's say 15. You can see down below a preview of that alert. We can see exactly which of our products have dropped below that threshold of 15. So we can also add additional conditions. So let's say I also want to see the outliers on the high side. Let's say I want to be alerted every time the Net Promoter Score goes above 25. As you can see below, we're now seeing all of the products below 15 and above 25. We can also use conditional logic in an if-then sense to create more complex and targeted alerts. But for now, we'll go ahead and keep this just with our or clause. Now that we have set those conditions, we can go ahead and finalize this alert. So by default, alerts are triggered every time the data set is reloaded. But you can select the cadence that works best for you. In this case, I'm just going to select once per hour. We can also share this alert with other users so that they can leverage the insights that we're looking at as well. And again, Qlik Sense is always going to respect the security and governance rules that you have created. So a user must have access to an application, and any section access rules will also apply, even in alerting. Now, once that alert is triggered, the alert is delivered to your email and displayed in browser while you're using Qlik Sense. Alerts allow users to manage by exception, enabling them to spend less time in applications while spending more time making key business decisions. Now, those are just some of the highlights in the Qlik Sense SaaS platform. There are numerous exciting new features on the roadmap for 2021, and we look forward to sharing those with you as they arrive. Now, really, the question at the heart of this presentation is, why move to Qlik Sense SaaS? Well, there are a few reasons, so let's just work our way down the list here. First, getting Qlik Sense SaaS up and running is incredibly fast. Simply click the link in your SaaS invitation email, name your tenant, and it's ready to use. Really, that's all it takes. Second, your environment dynamically scales with your needs. No need to have IT monitor your server usage or user volumes. This leads to improved flexibility and scalability. Regardless of if you have dozens, hundreds, or thousands of users, Qlik Sense SaaS will provide the same exceptional functionality and performance you demand. You also reduce your overhead costs by leveraging Qlik's cloud environment. You can still connect to all of your data wherever it resides, just as you would in an on-premise environment. Qlik Sense SaaS is updated monthly with new features and improvements. This requires nothing on your side. Simply log in and take advantage of everything Qlik Sense has to offer. Qlik is also taking a SaaS-first approach to development, so new features arrive in the cloud before they make their way to the client-managed platform. As always, Qlik's flexible licensing model gives you options to provide the right level of access at the right price for your business. Finally, training and enablement are at the forefront of Qlik Sense. Users of all skill levels can up their analytical game using Qlik's free education resources. So how do you migrate to Qlik Sense SaaS? Well, that's really a three-step process. First, set up your tenant. We can help you get your Active Directory or single sign-on provider integrated and help you get those data connections configured. Migrate your applications. Qlik Sense SaaS uses the same load scripts that you use currently in your Qlik Sense and QlikView applications. Just update the connection strings and your apps are ready to roll. Finally, get your users into SaaS so that they can start consuming those applications. Obviously, every deployment is unique, and we're happy to discuss the specifics of your environment so that you can migrate to SaaS with confidence. So what's next? Reach out to us to discuss a potential migration or to set up a full demo of the Qlik Sense SaaS platform. Then get started with your migration and see results in a cloud-hosted solution. So we're going to open the floor for any questions that you might have. But before I do that, I want to make sure that everyone has some contact information so that you can reach out and continue this conversation. You can email us at info@disqr.com or visit us at the newly redesigned www.disqr.com. That's 2 cheap plugs in one webinar. All right, we're going to get to as many questions as we can. Just know if we don't get to your question here, we will reach out to you after the webinar and get those answered for you. Elizabeth, do we have any questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Scott, for presenting. That was extremely informative. We have gotten some questions from the group. The first one is, I use Vizlib with my Qlik services. Is the Vizlib library compatible with SaaS?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, any Qlik supported extension is compatible with Qlik Sense SaaS. I'll go a step further and say that while they are not officially supported, I have tested a number of the extensions that are out there on Qlik Branch, for example, and I have had all of those working perfectly within the SaaS environment. Again, those kind of outside third-party extensions that are not officially Qlik supported may or may not work, but I so far have not run into one that doesn't.
Perfect. We have another one. How do developers collaborate in shared spaces?
Sure. So let's just jump back into the platform really quickly here. And let's go back to our shared space. And we'll come back to our development shared space. So within an application, one person is going to function as the owner of the application. And that person is going to really be the one that really owns the data model. That's really all it means to be the owner of the application. That just means that nobody else can come in. They can't disturb that underlying data model, but they can come in and they can absolutely come in, even with the public sheets, they can come in and edit those, really collaborate on those, be able to pass those different visualizations back and forth. And have all of that centrally located. So it really reduces that friction of, hey, can you pass me that app? Can we change that back in the management console? But again, that data model is really locked and loaded to the owner. Really the way around that is to duplicate the application. We see a lot of customers where they are really just using the core application as a template to really have that underlying data model that's locked and loaded. And then folks can copy the application and build new analytics use cases on top of that.
Perfect. Another one is, will existing Qlik Sense and QlikView scripts work in SaaS?
Absolutely. Really the only thing that changes is your connection string. Obviously being a cloud-based environment, and given that the data is then going to be stored up there in the Qlik Sense cloud, we just have to repoint those connectors to the appropriate location. But Nothing has changed from a syntax perspective. So all of that kind of legacy knowledge that you have of building applications in Qlik Sense or Qlik View is 100% applicable in the SaaS product.
Awesome. Are there distributed reporting features?
Currently, there are not integrated distributed reporting features. So printing is not compatible with the Qlik Sense SaaS platform. However, on the roadmap for 2021, and I believe it's the first half of 2021, although that's not 100% confirmed, there are distributed reporting capabilities that are going to be directly integrated, and that's going to be through an Office 365 integration. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you'll be able to leverage those distributed reporting features using those Microsoft products. Currently, you can continue to leverage story mode. They have really improved the PDF export functionality of all of the dashboards. So it's a much more what you see is what you get presentation in that PDF. But no, currently no distributed reporting features.
Great. Well, that looks like about all the questions that we have. Scott, thank you again for presenting. And if you have any follow-up questions or any further questions, please email us at info@disqr.com. And don't forget, you'll receive a recording of this webinar, and look out for our upcoming newsletter that will inform you about all the latest updates with DI Squared. Thanks so much for joining, and have a great day.